Hello. All right. Welcome. And already we see the nonsense with the one view count capped at one. We already know that a scammer has scammed my entire channel, and we've been talking about this, and it's only getting worse. Because people didn't do anything about it, as I reported this for a long time. So basically, I'm having a lot of issues with viewership and stuff like that. As you guys know, when we talk about this too, we get entire huge clumps of views just removed from the streams and the really across the channel. And I'm not the only one. There are other streamers that are talking about this and talking about entire streams being completely removed. Specifically, streams talking about things going on in certain parts of the world, if you get what I'm saying. And so basically, you know it's pretty interesting that they would just sit here and completely lie, take things down over. Apparently, like, we're talking like there are instances where like 700 videos are going just completely removed, just gone, vanished, about certain subjects. And again, the YouTubers talking about it get demonetized for talking about it and stuff like that. So it's important to remember that the same bullshit is happening here, where throughout the entire time that I've been running my stream, basically, like, I as soon as we got to the point where we were very obviously, going places and stuff like that, this scammer showed up and was always lingering, always stealing, always scamming. So basically, there are a lot of organizations that hire people like this behind the scenes to do the work for them so that it doesn't fall back on them. And obviously this stuff's incredibly illegal, so they hire a criminal to do this for them, and that's exactly what this person is. And so this person is a con artist and is an imposter, an impersonation scammer, and that's how these things work. And so basically, throughout the course of my channel, it's obvious that I had talent with certain things, and I was good at certain things. And every time I got to a certain threshold where we were going to gain like an entire audience, and this was like a new niche or something like that, there was always a real big thing that happened. Technical glitches, entire games breaking randomly for absolutely no reason, where even the company can't figure this out. It doesn't matter how many times we report it, they can't figure it out. So it's important to realize that we are engaged in a war right now. And it's important to realize that all these people are getting demonetized for talking about this. Again, entire views. I mean, like, literally, they're trying to say there's one person watching right now. I mean, we know that's complete nonsense. And, I've gone to great lengths to kind of prove this stuff. So it's important to recognize that I am being targeted and followed around by multiple, not just one scammer, but probably, again, foreign governments and stuff like that. We know that the Israelis are manipulating Trump and basically everybody to fight this ridiculous war. But it's important to remember that, again, as I'm on here and I'm trying to be a streamer, and I would have some way to appeal to an audience or something like that, this somehow goes away. So it's important to remember now that in order to combat this scammer and stuff like that, I am often not honest about personal, private things going on, maybe with me and stuff like that. And it's important to remember that this scammer very much wants the entire, like, everybody to know all this private information about people, myself included, but people, like real people and their real names, and this is not okay. So again, it's important for me to, get behind this and confuse them, and consistently just not say the correct thing, and sort of kind of look like an idiot. So I know that there's gonna be times where, we're gonna have new people come in and be like, what the hell is this? Like, I understand that. But again, when nobody's doing anything about this scammer is just here lingering, learning all this, manipulating information, stuff like that. It is, again, the scammer has already shown me that, when I get off stream, they get more personal. They just take over and start making, again, they're already doing that. So that's not something, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're not doing anything about this. So again, that's a lot of what you see on here and have seen on here recently. So just remember that, with scammers, I can't just sit here and give information and stuff like that and tell people things. But this scammer really is doxing people's information, trying to get everybody to find out, information and stuff like that might seem a certain way. And of course, they're trying to dox it, and they're trying to get it to be shown right at certain times and stuff like that, because this scammer is aware of those things. That's how malicious this is, So the point was, I recognized how nobody, everybody was doing what they were supposed to, and conveniently this person knew all this information, and again, nobody was supposed to be talking about it. And yet this scammer was doxing all this information and talking about it conveniently right then, and just really, so it's very, very important to remember that, when they're trying to do that, and they're very blatantly trying to get, the public and stuff like that to react to this and see it and stuff like that, it's important to remember that I have to do what I have to do to try to protect that information. And, again, because this scammer is just consistently here, regardless of reports, regardless how many times they're reported, okay? I mean, they're still there. And you guys already know that this person either is Russian or masquerading as a Russian while in the United States. And again, if you're doing that, yeah, you're under the radar, aren't you? So, my views are not accurate. Just like you see every stream we post, just huge chunks of views come off. This guy steals my streams just to re-upload them. And I have shorts that halt their view progress at like 200 something. Just like I mentioned recently how I did that cover of a Disturbed song in a short, like a partial cover, and they halted the view progress at like 200 something. And then this scammer re-uploads it on his fake channel, and he gets 2,000 views. And he literally gets 2,000 views re-uploading this thing I did. And he gets 2,000 views. So this is your proof that my views are in fact being halted, and it is being done by this person. This person is doing this. Just like you see here where I refresh this, and they're very clearly doing things to cause that concurrent counter to break, to not display a correct number. I mean, he is actively sitting here running scams on this account. And I've already tried to indicate, you know, the fact that this is sort of kind of obviously like device cloning with like virtual machine type stuff, you know, where it's just imagine having like a piece of software that acts like a phone. You get what I'm saying? Like he runs a piece of software that runs like a virtual machine essentially. So this phone is like it masks the phone basically. So I think it's stuff like that where you can just sit here and clone devices whenever. Because I mean, like, unless YouTube's really that bad with their security, where I mean, this guy can just use a VPN. I mean, if it's really that bad, oh boy. So let's also talk a little bit about something else that happened too. Some of you might be aware that, like, obviously, I've talked about certain channels I've been subscribed to and I like and stuff like that over the years. And I realize this scammer tries to cause a conflict between me and said channel, perhaps, and specifically if they can deduce that the channel might reach out or might actually like or be watching me or something like that. So, those of you who know what I'm talking about, obviously, but for those of you who don't, basically, without saying it, there was a channel that, I've said it before, but, I shouldn't say it so often. But there was definitely a channel that, that they were trying to blatantly, obviously, target somebody. And they showed a very disturbing image to me, and I now know how they did this. I now actually know how they did this. So if you guys know how I've been talking about, how like they're locking the VPN on the Russian server and stuff like that. So like that's what they're doing. Like for me, where like they're able to breach by doing this weird thing where they're sort of using my credentials and kind of logged in somewhere, and then now they put that on a Russian VPN, and it just, I guess, Russians can meddle around as well or something like that. That sort of concept. So basically, what I believe happened. So, all right, so let me first tell you what happened. Basically, they showed me a very disturbing image of somebody, something very bad happening to a specific person. And I obviously know who this person is. And, obviously have talked highly of this person before, and so you know what I mean. It was the sort of thing where it was obvious to tell what they were trying to do, and then right as I was actually going to take a screenshot and record the evidence of this, it refreshed the page. I have seen this happen so many times, where like right when I go to do something, conveniently there's a page refresh. I swear to God, like there's so many times where lately, like I'll be working on something too, and I'll go to like type in the AI, and it's almost like they're not prepared for it, and they want to be prepared for it, so they get the virus software or something to scan the app all of a sudden, and it just closes the whole thing. And I'm thinking to myself, it just like, why would it pick right now, right as I just typed out, like, you know what I mean, like. There's too much of this happening where it's not a mistake. It's not like somebody, Like, these things are just happening anymore. It's too much, guys. It's too much. So basically what happened with that, and you probably know what I'm going to say already, basically by locking it on the VPN Russian server, I think what they're doing is, if you know how there's a common problem going on where people are complaining about all of their homepage sort of saying the same things and being locked on the same things, that's why. Because they're doing that, and they're learning everybody's data and everything like that, and it's accidentally corrupting the data because their end of things is that corrupted, that, you know, it just, when they look at it and record it, that's what happens, and it just remains the same now. And so, like, yours is just broken. There'll be gaps. There'll be things where, like, their ads are supposed to show up and they don't. So I think that's what's actually happening. And I think that they're mistakenly, like, they're intentionally causing it to you know, like, there'll be, like, two spots where it should obviously be, like, maybe a couple of ads next to a video suggestion. It's obviously an ad space because there's no empty blocks. It would just be videos. And there's just nothing there sometimes. And that was where it was. It was in one of those spaces where there was just, like, you know, like, so obviously, you know, supposed to be something there to, like, the left, and then this was all the way to the right, and it was just this picture, and it just looked sort of like a video. But again, as soon as I went to go screenshot this very terrible thing, the whole thing refreshed, and I could not get it in time, unfortunately. And so, you know, just again, really obvious what the message was. So immediately I did what I felt necessary. I severed whatever data connections I could. I unsubscribed from this particular channel, because they are actually, I even, through some back and forth dialogue with Gemini, I was actually able to confirm that there are times where like people that you're subscribed for a long time, if you're subscribed for them for a long time, sometimes you might actually just want to unsubscribe and resubscribe, because there's actually, like, a data link there. So it like corrupts the data, and you don't get alerts, you don't get this or that, and then suddenly you unsubscribe, resubscribe. It's almost like a refresh that should have been there. You know, the thing I was complaining about forever ago, the cache refresh and stuff like that. So basically, it just seems like a lot of that type of stuff where it's just all over the place. But anyway, that's again, that's just an additional time that even Gemini confirmed that, yeah, I mean, like, that's something that can definitely happen where there's data being connected there and corrupted. So for sure, that and I already know that this person, that this person likes to follow people around, likes to stalk people. I mean, he's just pinging my location. You have to realize that he's just pinging my location. So, like, the thing that he's doing with the phone, he's just pinging my location. That's all he's doing. And there's a lot of other very suspicious things going on that I don't want to talk about on stream. But there are a lot of very suspicious things going on that yeah. It's similar patterns. So, if you guys are trying to figure things out and just kind of get to know me a little bit, I'm sorry, it's not going to happen. I'm going to kind of come off like a bit of a jerk at times. You have to understand that I have no idea who anybody is. Oftentimes, so this guy has hundreds, possibly thousands of accounts, and he's the one view botting me, causing me problems. And so you have to understand, when he has this many different accounts and they seem real, they don't even seem like fake accounts. You have to understand, like, I'm to assume pretty much everybody is that scammer at that point. I think it would be foolish not to. So, I again, that's the subscriber mode. That's what that is. This is why I warned you not to engage with somebody that, again, if it's not obviously me and my channel, again, this guy's just making copy channels of me. The latest one, all he did was, he has the same. The title of his channel looks the same, but the name is, he has one extra E at the end, and he's just reposting. He's just stealing my content. So don't engage. Obviously, he's trying to learn information. He's trying to pretend to be me. Obviously, he's trying to get people to engage with him, and he's trying to learn more things about me. He already fooled, obviously, a family member of mine that interacts with the platform. So just be aware that that's already happened, okay? So just be aware that that's something I definitively know 100% has already happened, okay? So, you know, he's a scammer at this point. And not only that, again, I already confirmed that his Steam account said that he was masquerading online as my dad. Literally just my dad's full first, middle, and last name. And two different times. He had 2 different accounts. Yeah, under that name, 2 separate times, where he did it twice before, that's now he can't do it again, probably, or he loses the whole thing. So I think that's probably why, where, again, they're doing things, but YouTube and other people, Facebook, when he sat there on Facebook and made fake Facebook accounts, they took action too, but YouTube doesn't seem to be doing anything. So they got my report. I showed you guys. I reported it right on stream and showed you. That was the whole point, was to show you. I am in fact reporting this. I'm not just not reporting it. And I'll be honest with you too. It's completely absurd for Google to admit that if you report things on YouTube, it doesn't do anything. Google admits that. I swear to God, if you like Google this stuff and you talk to the AI and you try to tell it it's happening, it goes, yeah, that's a really common thing that, if people report stuff on YouTube, nothing happens. What the hell? What? And then I took a screenshot of me trying to interact with the, like the live thing that they have for creators now, and it literally just failed to work. Literally fucking doesn't work. Literally just brings up a Google page that goes, nope. That's all it does. It literally just brings up a Google page, like you see here with the chat over here. It brings it up kind of like that, and it just doesn't do anything. It just brings it up and just goes, nah. Can't. We don't know what you're trying to do. This doesn't work. Like, literally scammers, like, nobody, like, literally just scammers are just all over YouTube, and nobody's doing anything about it. And I've been calling this out for I don't even know how long, and still nobody's doing anything about it. And I'm trying to be rude to anybody. I really am not. I'm really not. Like, I feel like people think I'm trying to be rude, with like saying like how obvious or something like that. It's like, no, that's how I see it. I'm just saying how I see it. To me, it's really obvious. and it always was. But that was my point, was that these scams were always supposed to look like that. Just like I always talked about how Microsoft is digging a hole for themselves, right? We all know that. And the hole is everything always needs updated because it's crap. Right? Yes, because it doesn't run. It never ran right in the first place. So, okay? So the point is, if you're always running everything on everything that needs updated, it ain't doing it right in the first place. Okay? And everything's on Windows. Like a lot of this stuff, on the server level, it's not Linux, it's Windows. And I'm not trying to say like you should Unix everything. I'm just saying on the server level, for the most part, it really is Windows. It really is. It's a problem, man. I've been trying to say the same thing. I'm not trying to take a crap on Microsoft. I'm really not. But at a certain point, they never rose to the challenge, and they just started getting worse and copy and pasting everything. I even said it with Madden, with like EA and stuff. Like it probably wasn't even EA. It was probably the Microsoft side of things that was doing that. You get what I'm saying? Where it was happening with like the sports games and stuff like that, and arguably that's the Microsoft influence in the market, where that works. Just like I pointed out the fact that over the years, this was always the case. The hard drives, even formatting hard drives and stuff like that, you don't get what it says on the box. And we're all on Windows formats. We're not on really anything else. We're on formats that work with Windows because that's the standard. So why aren't we perfecting? I mean, it's not a very good format either. It's really not. It's actually pretty crappy. It's not efficient at all. And so, like, I mean, actually, maybe it's like a medium efficiency. I mean, it's better than FAT32 was, but we need to move on from this. The point is, files are getting bigger, textures and stuff, and you're still on the same, we went to. The whole point was we moved up from FAT32 because even only that was like 2.5 gigs. So if it's sort of like not moving on from DirectX 12. DirectX 12 came out. It wasn't very good. And then there was never anything after that. And then you wonder why the new Unreal Engine is bad? Well, I mean, it's not all their fault. If the stuff don't work, it don't work. And why do you think that is? A lot of this crap's being developed on Microsoft systems, man. Not Linux. So the person endlessly using the Linux system for Python or whatever they're using, they're gonna immediately be above anybody else, efficiency-wise. I mean, we already have the tests from the updates of when they updated it. We talked about this before, but they updated Linux to accept games and stuff like that, and we talked about some UIs that would actually be good, and apparently the specs are in, and it's like blow your mind sort of stuff. I'm talking like, I think somebody said that like there was this game, it got like normally like 160, maybe something like that, 140, 144, 165, like that sort of standard range. And then it with the update that Linux got, it jumped up to like the 800 FPS range, where it was getting like 144, 165, and now that same game with the Linux update comparing to Windows, where it got 144, and Windows, it ain't even doing that. It's doing more like 75, 90. Let's be honest. And then now with the update, it's getting like over 800 FPS compared to the Windows struggling to do it. Where again, I pointed out to you, like all I had to do was open Task Manager, and I'm like, why are there 13 windows for my virus software? And secondly, why is my virus software taking so much resource? You know, like stuff like that, where like just things that are just generally running require too much resource. You know what I'm saying? And my virus, like mine's actually the one that's considered lighter than some of the other ones. So like that's kind of my point. And ah you get the point is that Windows for a long time, Microsoft for a long time, on the software side of things, like hardware wise, they were always good. And then remember I pointed out with the controllers last time when we talked, I pointed out what ruined the new updated controller. I even showed you, I said this was better than this. Remember? And I said, what's the difference? Well, one was the Xbox, if you remember the One controller versus the new updated Series S and X controller. One requires updates and has terrible software. The other one didn't. You can just use it and it never had a problem. And it was immediately better. That was what happened. They updated it, and that was it. It required updates, and now all of a sudden it's crap. Then you didn't introduce updates for the sake of updating it. You introduced updates for the sake of needing updates. That's what that tells me, because it made it worse. It didn't do anything. I never had any problems with my old controllers. They didn't have software issues. Who had software issues with the Xbox One controller? Who? I don't know anybody. That thing always sunk up immediately. That thing always fired up unless it was dead. And everything, like the buttons lasted just fine. Durability wise, it was maybe even a little bit better than the newer version. And the newer version comes out, it is updated too. It doesn't even feel as good as the older version in your hand, and the software is trash. So, and I pointed out the fact that this is what started happening to my Series X too, where hardware-wise, that thing is solid. I mean, like, it always was. But, you know, the obvious issue that we talked about, where people were just blatantly damaging the software. And, you know, like, I mean, you could just see it. And, you know, my direct comparison where this issue magically goes away, where I spend hours on the phone with Microsoft, or I'm sorry, Xbox support, and they can't figure this out, and they want me to activate my game digitally. Yeah, they don't want me to. They want me to send in my Xbox or activate my game digitally, and I swear to God, all I had to do to fix it, yeah, confetti. I swear to God, all I had to do to fix it was unplug the Ethernet cable. And they couldn't figure this out. They didn't even suggest that at any point. I didn't tell them that that was a fix, though, because I didn't want them to know that. I wanted him to figure that out and to try to tell me to do that. And he couldn't. And so that was always my fix. And that's what they were trying to do. They were trying to get me to, and like, it's like, come on, any IT or like, I mean, not even IT, like, just in general, like troubleshooting. I mean, even if you work for Geek Squad, Aren't you gonna be like, unplug the internet and see if it still works? You know what I mean? Like, start unplugging shit. Like, come on. I'm just saying. Like, that's just basic troubleshooting, isn't it? Oh, that's right. Geek Squad always sucked. You know, like, like, that's the point. Like, why does it... I've talked about this before, but my entire life, everybody that I knew that even knew a little bit about computers pretended to know a lot more than they knew. And they were so full of themselves. And how often do I admit that I'm wrong about something, guys? I'll admit it right away. I'll be like, oh, my bad. So that was my bad. Okay. I will say it right away. Because that's how I learn. I love to fucking learn. Excuse me, but I do. And I feel like this is a problem where people don't like to learn and they don't want to be wrong. Oh, I was wrong. And that makes them dumb or something. Oh, I'm fine with that. I'm fine thinking I'm dumb. But actually sort of, you know, not really. If you think about it, because I'm the one receiving new information. And anybody that does is suddenly the smart person. Because they have the ability to learn. So, that's all I'm saying is just compare it with what you already know. Like like, there's some stuff that I see only Linus Tech Tips talk about, that stuff that, like, I've known for frickin' years that I wish other people would talk about. You know what I mean? Like, it's so annoying. Like, I remember, you know, like, just over the years, just seeing stupid stuff, you know, and you know, like, people that have cases, and then they have, like, a bunch of stuff sitting on top of it, like their computer case, you know, and they want me to look at it, and it's like overheating because, like, literally it's full of dust, and they have a bunch of crap on top of it, and it's like, do you really need me to look at that, you know? Or do you just need to get better at having it yourself? So that's, like, I always tried to help people, but the point is the Geek Squad or the person doesn't know what they're doing, they're gonna sit there and they're not gonna do that. They're gonna look at a bunch of software and they're not even gonna clean it out. They're not even gonna did you unplug it and plug it back in? You know. That's that's the point. That's why you need to be on wired connections with internet too. That's why it's stupid to say that we should be on a wireless system, because you have to be able to completely sever the connection. Otherwise, you don't know for sure if the guy hitting the confetti button right now is still leaking some corruption through. You don't know. Remember all the times I told you guys that, oh, you know, I never touched the Wi-Fi setting in my car, yet for some strange reason, I start up my car, and the Wi-Fi's just turned on. Just no reason. Some settings are changed and stuff like that. Nobody got in my car. Nobody was in my vehicle. But just the Wi-Fi is just on. Magic. Huh. Wow. So remember how I told you if it was him, he would stop? The emojis. Remember that? Do you remember that? Do you remember how I told you if it was him, he would stop. Because he has exhibited this behavior before. Way back when he used to get pretty scared and just like disappear and I would scare him off. Yeah. Do you remember all the times that I'd play a certain channel's theme song and it would scare him away? It's the same guy. It's literally the same guy. It has not changed. It's just that guy. And that's probably why he did that, because he got very angry that I was able to scare him off with a theme song. So, just saying, it's the same guy, unfortunately. I completely understand. So there's actually a warning message. Just so everybody knows, there actually is a warning message that you will lose monetization on any streams and stuff like that if you talk about the war. Just letting you know, there actually is a warning message in there. So you can't even say with stuff like that. It's it's in there. So I'm just letting you know that they got themselves covered on that, okay? And I can't even fault them for that. I'm not. Okay. Whatever. I just you know, the people that would momentarily get all ticked off and pretend like they don't know why, that's the stuff that like kind of bothers me, and then they get promoted. And it's like, man, I was always the reasonable one on here trying to tell you this stuff. And the scammer came in and twisted that all up. So it was really hard to see that. Because the point was to sort of cause the reactions, make me rage out, so that way he has content that he can just, you know, put wherever he wants. So there it is. There you go. There it is. So if you notice, he's been subscribed for long enough, apparently, to type in chat, and I didn't even notice this person as on my list of subscribers. But apparently he's had this channel impersonating me, and there's like some Russian shit that he typed. You know what's concerning about that? The fact that it says 22. I wonder if he's pretending to be a 22-year-old somewhere. Because I'm sure as hell not 22. I wonder if he is. Like, I could pass for that for sure. Like, I'll own that. But that's what's concerning about stuff like that. Like, I would never do that. Like, I'm the one telling you guys, I want you guys to recognize that I was like a middle-aged man playing, I forget what I was playing the one day. Like, I'm old, man. I am 40 years old. I am not 22. I don't like, my skin cannot handle a beard. I can't grow a beard either, and I've been trying to just like deal with it so that you guys realize, like, I don't want this at all. This is not what I want. This is terrible. This guy, again, is probably masquerading and pretending to be a 22-year-old somewhere. That's what an impersonation scammer would do. They would create a bunch of accounts just to dox the person's information, just as they are here. So, like, I obviously don't. You guys, my information's already been doxed. I don't really personally care. Okay? The whole point is that I actually just care more that he was doxing. He's doxing real information and other people, too. So it's not just this, but you can see how he's using my art. Obviously my name, obviously trying to dox my real name, obviously. You know, like, we obviously know. Who cares? So yeah, this channel was created 2 years ago. And I think people don't realize this, but I just want to let you know, anybody can change the title of the name of their channel to pretty much anything. If he changes it to exactly mine, it'll flag the system. So that's why he's you know, slightly off. Again, YouTube should be better than this, but they're not. Like, it's this easy for people to masquerade. All they gotta do is sit here and slightly change it. This guy sat here and typed first, middle, and last name into the YouTube, and then, like, put my dad's picture and stuff like that, and was typing in my chat. That's what he does. Just like I told you he was masquerading, pretending to be my dad on Steam. It's not okay. Right, and thinks it's funny. I know, 100% you think it's funny. I know, 100%. So, I'm gonna go here and just... Okay, there we go. So, it's actually, it's really bad if this person is just kind of impersonating people, making accounts like this. It's not really legal. It's not. You can't really do this. So, you know, I mean, like, we know obviously this is, I've already talked about the legalities of what's happening here. We know that the person is, it's online stalking. That's federally illegal. That is illegal on a federal level. I talked about how the FBI is actually supposed to be monitoring things like this, and this is their jurisdiction. And they're sort of kind of not really doing anything about this person. So, again, you would rationalize then that the FBI is allowing this person to do this, and is aware of this, and enabling it. One would rationalize that. Because, again, it's been going on for years. So, just throwing that out there, that it's important to rationalize that the FBI, this is their jurisdiction. You know, even scam baiters that sit on here, they get visits from the FBI and stuff like that too. So it's important to remember that this is their jurisdiction, and if this is happening, it's actually just them allowing it to continue. So I'm just putting that out there, that that's really important to realize, because this is exactly what the FBI do, what they're supposed to be doing. And I'm not talking about your local field office. That's a state-run thing. That's state-funded, sort of, you know, that's different. That is exactly what that is, okay? That's different. Those are the good guys. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the guys that are sitting on here in an office somewhere, and this is what their job is. And instead of doing their job, they're laughing their asses off as somebody's getting harassed. And entire families are spending more and more money on exactly the same car repairs over and over. Oh, two different cars, two different manufacturers, yet all the exact same problems over and over and over. Identical problems, one right after another. Oh, and the Wi-Fi is randomly on in the vehicle. And again, you've documented that nobody has access to the vehicle. Nobody else. Nobody's breaking into it either. Literally just the Wi-Fi is on. Evidence of the Wi-Fi is on, and the vehicle has been tampered with wirelessly. Tons of times. And again, over the course of, again, an entire year, just one car after another, the same problems. Oh, two different, completely different cars. One is literally a Korean manufacturer, and one is an American one. Completely different. And just the exact same things, back and forth, back and forth. Where again, it's exactly just like the scams on here, where it's supposed to look like a scam, that the person looks into the vehicle and goes, oh, what's a common problem with this? Okay, let's wirelessly fuck with the vehicle and make this happen. Not, somebody takes good care of their vehicle, it just won't necessarily happen, and a lot less of a chance of it happening, especially when, nobody else has access to it. They very rarely drive it. In fact, it's driven only locally, and it pretty much only speeds of 35 to 45 miles an hour, very rarely going at highway speeds anymore, and again, not even traveling more than probably a few miles a week. And we're trying to pretend like just one thing after another, just bam, 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 like somebody's just really driving the hell out of this thing or something like that, except they're not. Except nobody is. Yeah, and we all know I drive like a fucking grandma. We all know that. I bitch about people that don't drive like a grandma. I complain about that. We all know that. Yep. So, how many times are things going to happen to me where I know that I have learned this about life and this is not something that should be happening to me? I am somebody that takes precautions for these things, and there's no explanation. And over and over and over, these things are happening. Where it would be things that other people would easily, quickly dismiss and excuse as, oh, well, that's just this. Kind of like some police going, oh, yeah, aren't Hyundais... Durr. That's their entire investigation. My mom's car blows up, and the police go, well, Hyundais, don't they just blow up? They're prone to fires, right? Oh, the scammer loves this, guys. Good job. Good job. The scammer loves that. Yeah, you're just, oh boy. You're just showing him that you will not investigate. He can do whatever the hell he wants, and you won't figure it out. He can just sit here and blow some shit up, steal people's identities all day long, stalk people online, and you'll just never investigate it. You'll just immediately be like, well, another Hyundai blew up. I guess, and then it just adds to the statistic. that you got wrong, they just blow up because there's no investigation. You didn't investigate anything. All they did was put out the fire and say, well, Hyundais, they're just prone to fires. That's it. That's all they did. And they refused security camera footage saying we don't do that. So also, by the way, let me talk a little bit about this. Let me since this is very confusing to people, okay? Let me talk a little bit about this, okay? I'm going to give you something that you should take with you in general, all right? Here is the statement, okay? In the United States, the DOJ, the Department of Justice, has also said that the right to record officials, like police, okay? The right to record in general, but again, that's the right to record officials, extends to places where a person has a legal right to be present. That's it. That's it. You can record anywhere you want. So, for example, if you're standing on a sidewalk and you want to film the inside of a bank because you can see the inside of it from the sidewalk, well, yeah, that's a massive security risk. But you can't stand there and hold the person accountable for it and try to get them arrested and all that. You should thank them for trying to point out your massive security issue. But no, you'll just arrest somebody that's filming on a sidewalk because you're stupid. So, this is actually happening where, like, it's almost like cops want to control people and stuff like that. You have a right to record anywhere where you have a legal right to be present. Period. End of discussion. Now, this is why you have a legal right to record Walmart or wherever you go. However, at any point in time, they also now have a legal right to ask you to leave. They cannot take your recording, and they cannot take anything from you. They can escort you from the building. They cannot detain you. That's it. You have a legal right to record while you are present there. They cannot take the recording. Just as when a car that's yours is on their property and catches fire, you have a right to that recording. You are on their property. This equipment is believed to be used to protect you, the customer, and them, the employees. What the fuck else is it for? And then meanwhile, something actually happens where a crime could be committed, but no, the people that are supposed to actually investigate and protect and serve show up, determine that no investigation needs to be done. Yep, because the fire occurred because, Hyundais are just prone to fires. Yep. And nobody was there by the time I got there to pick up my mom. There was nobody there. Nobody there. And that's very suspicious. Why anybody wouldn't be investigating and asking questions and trying to figure it out. Very fucking suspicious. So, if the FBI wants to continue pretending like they're not, attacking citizens, you can go right ahead, but it's kind of obvious to see that the FBI is attacking citizens. If you added up everything I was just saying and you arrived at the conclusion where we are now, you'll also see that we had 7 likes on the stream just for one of them to be removed just now, so 7 goes down to 6. Again, this is just the same troll doing all of this, the same scammer. They put the likes on the stream to take them off. right as I said that. So we know that this has been a very obvious tell where right when I would say something that's kind of obviously happening, they want people to psychologically think that's not true. So, this person I think thinks that if they see likes coming off or something like that, this has some sort of effect on that psychologically. I think that's what they think. And so that's why they're trying to do that, where they would have a bunch of accounts and like the stream up to a certain number just to slowly remove these likes. Again, same thing with the views. Okay? Where, I think it's to try to, if anything, I'll be honest with you, I'm not stupid. Obviously, the scammer's trying to make my audience think I'm doing it, but obviously I wouldn't view bot my own stream. You guys know that I was somebody that built this off of legitimate viewership and sat here perfectly comfortable with pretty much no viewers for a long time while I first started streaming and worked up to that, okay? So you guys already know that I went through that process and I did that. And the whole point is that after all that work, this person shows up to try to steal my content and harass me and be very, 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 very invasive with my family, saying sexual things in my chat, pretending to be family members. I mean, this person literally said something sexual about a female family member of mine, and no, I'm not talking about just my mom. Though he did say it about my mom, I'm not talking about just her. It is very blatantly obvious this person is trying to get to certain females. So, obviously, I've dated people before, obviously. It's not like I've never dated somebody. This person knows a lot about me and learned some very invasive things that they should not have been able to figure out. And, again, is trying to find certain people and is doing this way. And so, again, it's very important that you do not engage with this individual. And that, again, it is imperative that something is done about this individual. Just confetti the whole time. Alright, so with what I said, with what I said about, with what I said about this, this is the sort of thing where I was asking about is a police station in the US. I said a police station in the US is not private property, is what I said. And it gave me an answer that basically was confirming I was right about that. So that's what it also added to that at the end, where it picked up on the fact that that's why I was asking. Where police try to, sometimes, not all, but sometimes they give people a hard time for recording and stuff because they try to pretend like it's private property or something like that. And they themselves are acting as if it's private property. And it's not. A police station is not private property. So that's what you got to realize about that. People are allowed to be there. And if they have a legal right to be present there, they can record. Period. End of discussion. Anywhere they have a legal right to be present, they can record. Period. End of discussion. So yeah, you bring them back there, they have a legal right to record. If they're detained and they have a lawyer present, the lawyer can record everything. You wouldn't question that. Suddenly with the lawyer doing it, you wouldn't question it. Yep. So the point is, just Joe Schmo, you question it because you can give him a hard time. Because you don't know what the heck you're doing. That's the point. Just like this guy that I'm talking about, where 3 cops came up and started harassing this dude. Because 2 bank employees were, I don't know, weirded out that he was recording a building. No, and I swear to God, like, the whole point is, the ridiculousness of this was that he was recording through a window that the reflection was so bad from, like, the brightness of the sky and everything, it's not like you could even see anything. Like, literally, these people were so dumb. They didn't turn around and look and go, well, you can't see anything anyway. It's just a reflection. So, like, they literally, none of them did it. None of them. You can't see anything. They're literally all just being super angry and triggered that this black individual was recording in front of a bank. Yep, he was black, and every officer was white, and both of the women that called, the internet would determine are Karens. I can almost guarantee it. And flat out, you couldn't even see anything. And what was the crime? He's on a sidewalk. It was a sidewalk. They just literally, he was genius too. Like, literally, he was just recording. The first cop shows up, he just says nothing the whole time. Literally just points in the bank, points at the bank, and just keeps recording. That's all he's doing. He's not doing anything wrong. And then eventually, he just doesn't say anything. Eventually, they just throw him against the wall, well, the glass, and start cuffing him. So they assault this guy after he didn't do anything. And meanwhile can't recognize that they themselves wear body cams that are protected under that exact same set of laws that say you can record in public. Like, literally, they would not be allowed to just fucking record wherever they want either. Like, that's what you gotta realize. If that didn't exist, because technically that bank is its property, right? And so that's what they would use, that's what they would say. Well, except that he was on the sidewalk. He didn't walk into the bank. And as I already stated, if he did, they would simply have to ask him to leave. They can't just detain him. They can't take his recording. They can't. You have a legal right to record wherever you have the right to be present. It's that simple. And like, literally, all 3 cops, both Karens that did this, they have no clue. They're just really triggered by this black individual with a white shirt and his sunglasses because he's cool as hell. I mean, the dude looked cool. I couldn't deny that. I was like, man, that dude looks fly. I couldn't deny that. I was jealous of his sunglasses. So, that's probably what it, they probably just really triggered by the fact that this guy's really cool. And, just recording a reflection off of a window. Because that's what it was. He's not he couldn't see even the employees. I couldn't see the other lady until she came out to complain to him. Literally. The cops didn't even do this. The cops didn't even go, well, what can you even see in there? It's just a reflection. They could have done that, but they didn't. They could have even done that. And that would back them up because that's reasonable. Because this is exactly how policing works. If there's a reasonable take, the guy is reasonably on public property, the sidewalk. He has a right to record, reasonably stating that there's a freaking reflection where he can't even record the inner workings of the business. All he's getting is the sky. And it's a tinted window. It is literally tinted for this reason. How many people look at this without a logical take? And then I can just look at it with such a blatant logical take. This is kind of my point. So, anyway, let's let it respond. I did say that to the AI. Let's let it respond really quick. It's not a long response, but I figure I'll let it respond really quick.
I'm checking the current legal framing so I can answer this accurately, since property access rules for government buildings can vary by jurisdiction and by which part of the building you mean. Usually, yes. A police station in the US is not private property in the ordinary sense. It is typically government-owned property. But that does not make it a place where anyone can go anywhere or do anything they want. Courts treat many government buildings and interior spaces as non-public forums, where the government can impose reasonable, viewpoint-neutral access rules.
But not
So
the
the
lobby.
accurate version is, not private property, generally true, because it is public/government property. Not open without limits. Also true, because public ownership is different from unrestricted public access. Government property can be closed to certain activities or parts of the building. That is why, for example, a public sidewalk outside a government building is often treated differently from the building interior. The Supreme Court has recognized stronger speech protections on public sidewalks, while interior government property is often subject to tighter rules. If you're asking because of filming, trespass, or being told to leave a lobby, the key issue usually is not private versus public, but what specific area it is and what lawful restrictions apply there. The DOJ has also said the right to record officials extends to places where a person has a legal right to be present. If you want, I can break this down for one specific scenario, like filming in a police station lobby, or whether they can trespass someone from the building.
So, it's important to remember that you need to be very specific getting answers from AI and stuff like that. My question here was very broad, so the answer can be a lot more fact generated. The more specific you get, the more it's going to be an expertise sort of thing, and it could get something wrong along the way. It's important to recognize that you can still use the tool for what you need, but you have to break it down a little bit more to a generalized basic level in order to get what you want out of that. So that was why I started with the very simple statement that I did. Yes, essentially, if there's a local ordinance or something like that that states you can't record inside, certain government buildings and stuff like that, sure, I can understand that, or officials and and stuff like that. But most of the time, that's not the case, and you have to understand it like this. What is your intent? When you're the officer, what's your intent? That's what the public wants to know. Why do you guys get all riled up just because somebody's recording? What are you trying to hide? You know what I mean? Like the guy that entered the lobby on a body cam I watched recently. All he did was walk into the lobby, of, I think it was a sheriff's office. I'm not 100%. I just know that it was some sort of a police station, and he was doing his, like, he was just requesting public records, things he's allowed to do. He'd already had it signed. This is something he kind of does. They should have been aware of this kind of sort of thing where people can do this. Immediately he walks in, and they sort of like have a problem with this, where like the lady's like, I can't really tell you anybody's pay. I can't release that. And he's like trying to tell her, well, actually that's public information. If you look right here, like I have what I need and stuff. Nope, just literally trying to argue with him and stuff like that. And then they found out after arguing with him, and they're not going to do that. And she's just trying to give him a list of the badge numbers and the names and not the pay that he wants and stuff like that so he can investigate how much they're earning. Because, again, that's suspicious. You want to know how much the cops are earning in your area. If you pay taxes and stuff, especially if your local taxes are high, you want to know what they're using it for. Yeah, you have a right to do that. And they gave him a problem. That's fucking suspicious, man. I will tell you 100% that's very suspicious. So they give him a problem, and now they find out he's recording. So what? So what? He's in a lobby. There's one officer that's, again, clearly identified as an officer. He's not like plain clothes or anything. He's got like the polo badge thing on. And then there's one lady sitting in a chair who's like the lady to deal with that. There's not like a bunch of people. There's not like a thing going on. And he's just, it's very quiet. He's not causing a problem. He's just very calmly asking for this. He's not, literally not arguing with him or anything. And immediately they just, you can't record here. You can't record. You can't record. And basically, then they start trying to kick him out, and he basically just, it ends with I think him arrested for disorderly conduct or something stupid like that. Like literally start to finish, the police station looked guilty. Start to finish. They have this thing where the cop questions everything that the citizen's trying to do. He's literally allowed to do this, and he's allowed to record. And the cop's not meeting him halfway, trying to look like, if I was in that position and I found out about this, like he's not trying to do that. He's just trying to look at him like he's a bad guy and he's here to cause a problem. That's literally how it's very obviously going. And this is why these free speech auditors are doing what they're doing, where they're just recording, like they'll walk up to a police station parking lot and just record the outside of the vehicles. That's all they're doing. You know what I mean? Like, who cares? And then I swear to God, like every time, almost every time, these triggered cops just come out of the station and they're trying to like, what are you doing? Like immediately they're like very aggressive and trying to like, you can't do that. And yes, they can. Like they're they're trying to like, and then almost always ends with like disorderly conduct arrest or something dumb like that. And again, it's like, what are you doing? What do you think the person was doing? Recording the outside of police cars. What danger does that have to you? He's just standing there recording. Maybe he was a contractor for a company that improves squad cars, and he was recording, some squad cars in the area and sending it back to his contractor so that they could look at that data and be like, oh, okay, well, now I know what they need, and then they're going to come and give you a sales pitch or something like that, and then, like later on, you can actually get some awesome shit for your squad cars. How the hell do you know what he's doing? Like literally, you just come out and you can't do that. Yes, he can. Yes, he can. Did you know that you can record police activity too? Yeah. They have to set a perimeter. And if the perimeter isn't big enough, well, you record whatever the hell you want from the line of said perimeter. It's the so like if you're standing somewhere somewhat close and a cop says get back and shoves you, he assaulted you. He has to give you commands and give you time to respond. That's actually how it works. And I see this commonly where they just, sort of like a cop showing up, not telling somebody they're under arrest and giving them time to react or anything. Literally just showing up, running at them, and you're under arrest, and they just like dive on them and what the hell? So the point is, from the public's view, police are sort of just doing whatever the hell they want. And all we're doing is recording. Like, the point is, you look really guilty when you're sitting here attacking people that are just trying to record what you're doing. Okay? Because, like, if they have a right to do so, they have a right to do so. I'm not talking about somebody that's actually suspicious. I'm talking about just somebody that's minding their own business. And then you interact. Like, if the guy, if the person even tried to open a door on a squad car or even touched a squad car, now maybe you can like go outside and observe him. But but again, you still only saw that one act. Is he trying to do it again? Or was he a good citizen making sure the car was locked? Because your car shouldn't probably be unlocked just sitting there like that. What's the intent? You didn't determine that. You just observed him doing it. So no investigation was done. Yeah. Imagine that. This is the point. Cops are just assuming guilt. They assume guilt. Every effing time. Every time. They just assume guilt. It's literally the opposite. What is the judge doing? What do you think judges do? So you're just doing their job for them? You just assume guilt every time. Oh, somebody's walking around with a camera recording stuff. Well, they must be guilty of something. What? So, that's the, that's kind of the point, and right as I said about assuming guilt and how obvious that is, one of the likes that the scammer had on the stream to remove it got removed, went from 5 to 4 likes. So, yeah, that's blatantly something that, is happening. And this scammer can recognize is happening and is trying to throw shade on it, so they remove a like. That's the point. Yep. Because, again, there's definitely a reason they would be hitting the confetti for some other reason right when I said that. Haha. Haha. See what I'm saying? Haha. See how they're trying to... I mean, the concurrents are, like, they're causing a problem for them, for sure. Definitely screwing up with... Definitely screwing up the data, definitely screwing up the views. But, like, that's kind of the obviousness that I see of what's going on between, you know, the tension that very obviously the administration is trying to cause between law enforcement and citizens, where they're just trying to get more law enforcement on their side. That's all. They're trying to change their minds and get them to essentially kind of vote the other way, because obviously he's going to try to be on the ballot this election. Whether it be, again, like I said, they're going to try to make it seem like they're going to have somebody run that's just going to change, you know, like Vance or somebody like that will just give power back to the regime. So again, it, you know, that's why we say what we're saying with that message. You got to vote the other way. That's why we're saying with that. It's just because, you know, like, if you really want rights and you want to move forward and you want to finally have answers to these things and whatnot, you have to vote that way, or none of it gets worse. Things get more expensive and the middle class goes away. The only people that will survive are rich people. And we will all become poor, and you will own nothing, and you'll like it. And if you don't like it, you'll get deported. It's that simple. That's what's already happening. It is, I mean, it's not legal immigration. That is illegal. They are illegally deporting. It's not legal what they're doing. So right when I said that, one of the likes again came off the stream. We had it back, and they removed it again right when I said that. So again, another thing that this person is recognizing as being true about what I'm saying, and they're trying to throw shade on that and get the algorithm to disagree, you know, and whatnot, and so that's what you got to realize. You know, it. Too many people actually are just flat out racist and don't want a certain kind of person here anymore, and are showing that. And we cannot allow that mindset to get worse. I just saw that, you know, there are more reports of the KKK coming back and stuff like that. This was stuff that we were doing things about. You know, we had Barack Obama as president of the United States. You know, like the point is, this was something we were getting past, and now this very blatantly, if I'm being honest, racist president comes in opposite of Obama. Obama himself said this. Okay? Obama himself said this. All right? Like, y'all read his book by now, okay? I'm not giving you things that you probably don't already know by now, okay? You all read it by now, okay? It's right in the beginning, all right? He came out of office literally knowing that this guy was everything opposite of what he stood for the whole way through. He knew that. He knew this was coming. He tried to warn everybody. You know, don't do this. We worked so hard to get where we are. To work together on a common cause, on being Americans and equality and stuff like that, putting that ridiculous racist bullying crap behind us. Getting back to awesome stuff like Key and Peele, being on top of the world and being some of the funniest shit I've ever seen on television. What, you know, like, this was the point. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, somebody comes in there, Trump, that is complete opposite, blatantly racist. The whole time, the whole step of the way. And quite frankly, I'm not just saying this. I'm not. Okay? I have given him enough chance to prove to me that he is competent and intelligent. He's not. I have given him a chance to prove that to me. Donald Trump is quite frankly a stupid man. I really truly believe this. There is only so much you can establish from somebody as being intelligent when they make incorrect decisions so often. And then double down on it, like embroider a hat that says I was right about everything and shit like that. I mean, how much intelligence is about a person that does things like this? They just can't even get over like losing at golf. That's not intelligence. That's somebody that never learned that they're wrong here, here, and here to become intelligent. There's just somebody that endlessly spends money saying they're right. No, I'm right. I'm right. I'm right. And they're not. They just scam being right their entire lives. So, it is not somebody that's intelligent. It's somebody that is extremely dumb and very easy to manipulate. That's what the foreign governments are doing. That's why we're engaged in a war right now. He's extremely easy to manipulate. He's the one that set no new wars. Yet here we are in a run. So, I don't... It's not hard to look at this situation for what it is and blatantly see that, you know, we had something working for us. We had record job growth when Obama left office that Trump got to take credit for. Record job growth. And Obama, at the time, you know, he deported a record amount of people. That's what you got to realize. Obama had crackdowns on deportations and immigration. He did. So just to sit here and claim that we never did that, and then you're going to legally use ICE, we didn't even, again, like the whole point was you're supposed to use them properly. Not just, oh, fund the crap out of it and pay all these people to ransack airports and shoot people in Minneapolis. That's not what they're for. It's literally not what they're for. It's not how it's done. And again, Obama deported a record amount of people and had record job growth as Trump came into office. Thanks, Obama. And Donald Trump literally just sat here and destroyed everything. Tried to take credit for stuff. And then if he couldn't take credit for it, well, he just got rid of it. Like, again, the Iran nuclear deal that he's, well, probably wishes that existed now. Yeah, because they wouldn't have nukes, would they? It's ridiculous, man. Stop trying to pretend like Obama wasn't literally like the best president we've ever had. Literally ever. I mean, like, the only person that he even compares to, there's two people. Abraham Lincoln and JFK. That's it. And you can arguably say, civil rights, JFK didn't fire. That's it. And it's not even like it's not even really that close either. Like Obama single-handedly did far more than either of those presidents. And again, if you want to compare the civil rights, you know, and stuff like that, okay, fine. I'm just saying, like, more than just one thing and a lot of different stuff that arguably, again, nobody else was ever going to do that. And again, Trump proves that. He tries to, he gets rid of an Obama thing just to try to bring it back, and he can't do that. Don't work that way. So, we had a good one. We did. And Biden wasn't bad. He just didn't have a whole lot of time. It's the administration. It's the people they hired. Now, if you change it to fascism and dictatorship, well, yeah, a lot of that power is now shifted to the president. And quite frankly, you don't want that. Because he'll make mistakes. He don't... Like, that's the point. He has an administration, lots of people doing this stuff, so he doesn't. The dictatorship will always, always fail for that reason. Because that guy's an idiot. He thinks he knows everything. And he's quite frankly, most of the time, a narcissist because this is what he wants. He wants control over everything. He actually thinks he deserves it. That's a blatantly show you that he doesn't. The guy that deserves it steps down because he's responsible. That's the guy that deserves it. It's that simple. Now, Trump sat here. I mean, that guy can't even lose to golf. He didn't even want to lose to golf. Come on, it's just golf. I don't give a shit. Yep, I don't give a shit. Like, who cares? I sit here and fall off ledges in Elden Ring all the time. I lost 2 million frickin' runes the other day and flipped out on stream and called the game shit even though it's not. But the point is, I can still play the game and still kept playing the game. I didn't try to pretend like I didn't... You know, I wasn't like sitting here like, that's fake news. You guys didn't see that. And then get off stream and try to remove it and clip it out. And no, I didn't do that. I didn't like embroider a hat that said I'm right about everything as I get on stream and no, I'm not doing these things. I don't care. I don't care about being right. Apparently this guy does. He cares a lot about being right. So much so, he's got to embroider a hat. He thinks about this, sends it to the company. He's got time to cancel it. They're making it. They're embroidering it. He gets it shipped. He opens the box. Man, he's carried it. Somebody carries it in there. He sees, oh, that must be my hats that say I'm right about everything. You know, he has time to not do it. He pulls them out. Boy, you know, even after seeing it, man, my own conscience won't stop me from wearing it. Nope, because he doesn't have one. Literally just so blatantly oblivious to what confidence is. He scams it every time. He's right about everything. It's not confidence, dude. Confidence means that you're okay with being wrong, idiot. That's what confidence is. That's what it means. It means you don't care. All right, I was wrong. My fault. I can move on with that. That's confidence. You don't give a shit. It's not the other way around. That's why you look like a complete idiot to everybody. You just stand there like, and remember how I said it's blatantly obvious how he's kind of like getting tips from me and stuff? I've seen evidence of this. I really have. I'm not just saying that. I've really seen evidence of that. Where he changes his entire viewpoint that he's ever been conveniently right after I say something on stream. And then I lose a bunch of views and they... Ugh. So, like... I remember recently, too, I said something about the fact about how, like, if he's actually doing stuff at the CIA and he's doing stuff with intelligence and stuff like that over there. By the way, the concurrents are being weird. If he's doing stuff with that over there, he shouldn't say anything. You know what I mean? Like, presidents oftentimes, the entire strategy is you say nothing. Nobody knows about it. They just know we're going there. And then there's really not a whole lot they know about the attack plan or anything like that. Just, we're there. Maybe sometimes there's a camera, but, I mean, so what, you know? And so, like, the point is that, this idiot constantly was just saying everything he's gonna plan to do or not do, and then I pointed out the fact that that's not how intelligence works. Like, if you announce what you're going to do, then they know you're going to do it. It's not how it works. And I swear to God, this was... Do you remember recently when somebody asked him about what was going to happen and stuff like that? And he responded with... He literally responded with, I don't know what we're going to do. But... whatever it is, I sure as hell won't tell you. I can promise you that, or something like that. Like, you know, like he always wanted to sit here and talk in great lengths about how, you know, try to pretend like he's this great strategist and stuff like that. And then just all of a sudden, after I blatantly made it obvious this guy doesn't know jack shit about strategy. I was just blatantly right. He just immediately changes it to that, like just right after that, and has adapted this. So look, I'm not faulting him for doing it and fixing it. I'm not at all. I'm just like I'm pointing out the fact that it's been this bad, and you know. It's very manipulative. You know, again, he's wrong a million times and he never admits it. That's not somebody that can make the correct decision in the times of nuclear fallout. It's not. He's not going to make the right decision. It's not somebody that makes the right decision. That guy will make the wrong decision. He will make whatever decision saves him, not us. And a president shouldn't do that. I need to know that he has, you know, you know, again, like, it's obvious he's already sold secrets. Like, the sort of thing, you know, like, where a president would never give the enemy anything that could possibly get them to mess with U.S. civilians. And this guy has been doing this since coming into office. I mean, like, he's admitted to it. And it's quite frankly the most obvious thing a president should never do. This is why it was so controversial, him meeting with Kim Jong-un in North Korea. And again, he was the only president to ever do it, because it was quite frankly thought of that the president should never, ever even visit North Korea, just quite frankly for the sheer national security risk that poses, where him coming back could end up being exposure of, you know, things. And I guarantee you, you know, he was not smart when he visited North Korea and something happened there. And you know, that's part of this, and it always was. And you know, just like just like when he randomly threatens another country and stuff like that, and you don't know why. You know what I mean? Like, they did something. You know, like he made the mistake, and now, you know, like he blatantly is showing up like he normally does, getting all loud and stuff like that over his mistake. You know what I mean? Like, that's what you got to recognize about the guy. Anytime he does that, it's like, oh, okay, so like, what did he do that caused him to be this upset at, you know what I mean? Like, that's what you gotta rationalize. Clearly, something happened where he's acting like that, because it's not normal. You know, again, Obama wasn't randomly just cursing at Iran. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, the whole point was Obama, if anything, was trying to improve relations and stuff like that with other countries, and not necessarily, you know, like again, for the whole concept of denuclearization and stuff like that. Like, you know, like that was the whole point, was you know, just trying to figure out what everybody needs and stuff like that instead of pissing people off. And that's all this guy does. He just takes off everybody, including us. You know, most people in this country do not like him. They do not. Oh, and the likes that are on the stream, that the scammer had on the stream, to have on the stream just to remove them, one of them just came off just now. It was at 7, went down to 6 right when I said that. So, you know, yet another thing that you can count on being accurate. Oh, wow. It's from 6 down to 5. Oh, wow. We're really trying to remove them now. So now you can, boy, they're just coming off like crazy now. Going down to 3. Yeah. So you can really count on this, you know, being something where he does not, you know, like it's a guy that you know, gets away with what he's doing because this regime supports citizens being attacked that are against Trump. You know, he doesn't care if it's a voter or something against him. He don't care. You know, they can die for all he cares. Because remember, he's using ICE to unalive voters in Minneapolis. I mean, that's what he's doing. We all know this. That's what it's about. If he can unalive as many voters that go the other way as he can, then yeah, he'll successfully rig this thing. And that's what he's trying to do. And, you know, again, trying to interfere with the election in Texas. We talked about that. He was meddling in the election in Texas. And he's blatantly trying to restrict mail-in voting, all while taking part in a special election mail-in vote in Florida. He literally took part in that, all while claiming that mail-in voting is fraud, and he's trying to restrict it, all while taking part in it. He literally just did a mail-in vote of himself in a special election in Florida, all while claiming it's fraud. And he's gonna get rid of it. Yep. So again, it's exactly everything he does. Just lies. So, obviously, you guys know that I've talked about a lot of these, you know, these types of scams and stuff before, but like I said, there are other streamers other than me that are demonetized for talking about certain things and stuff like that too. And it's like, obviously, like, you know, attacking a streamer for like talking about things that are just happening. Like, you literally state something that you've noticed happen, and then like you demonetize that streamer. That is very blatantly, legally, obviously, the platform retaliating against a streamer for pointing out the fact that they legally don't want them to say this or that and don't want anything to do with it. So, I'm just saying that's very suspicious of anybody. That you are removing 700 videos overnight, and conveniently these have to do with the war. And they're all things that show that the Israelis are literally, committing war crimes, lying to the United States, doing all kinds of stuff they shouldn't be doing. And like frontline stuff, and it's just being removed in mass quantity. Just like as we're sitting here, the FBI is sitting here watching every stream, and instead of doing something about the scammer that's actually scamming me, the impersonation scammer that's been stalking me for years, they are actually sitting here joining in. That's right, the FBI actually sits here and joins in. So you should know where the Trump administration's faith is actually aligned. They don't care. They don't have any faith. You know, like that's not humanitarian. That's not Christian. You claim, this guy claims that he's all, Christian, stuff like that, and we've been talking about that. Okay, you want to claim that he's the more Christian guy? What about anything that this douchebag has ever done is Christian? Ever. He's the first president to ever say the F word. Period. He is. He's the first president to ever say the F word. And apparently that's, oh man. You guys know how I talked about, Christians have always treated me a certain way for swearing. Like that's a real big deal. So, there you go. You don't use the same logic with him. You just let him do it. Remember the time that the Secret Service told him that they would have to tear gas people in a park if he wanted to go there because it was closed? Because the whole point was that was the only way to the closed church where he wanted to take a picture with a fucking Bible. So he said, nah, I'm just going to do it anyway. Because that's where the protests were happening. And so because he did it anyway, they had to tear gas the people that were nearby because he just disobeyed what Secret Service wanted him to do. Apparently he just did it anyway. And then just to get a picture holding up a Bible in front of a closed church. Could have waited till like the next day. Nope. Really Christian guy, huh? Again, the Iran nuclear deal, we know that deal was actually a pretty good deal for us. The whole point is the Iran nuclear deal prevented them from having nukes and weapons and stuff like that, war weapons. And so the whole point is that him getting rid of that ensured that they were able to have them again. How is that Christian? Explain it. What is Christian about that? Oh, yes. And God said, give everybody nukes. And then he came down and sprinkled the nukes into the ground for them as the nuclear codes were handed down by Moses himself. What the hell? No. What is this? You think that's the Christian take? What? No. And then likewise, you think that like it's very unchristian to call people stupid and just call them out and swear. Where in the Bible? Where? Please. And then the whole point is that modern Christianity religion and stuff, most people aren't academic. They don't understand it. So that's why when this guy blatantly isn't Christian, they just back it up. Because they're stupid. They don't understand. The Bible, quite frankly, is confusing and written in Old English sometimes. I mean, that thing's been translated how many times? People don't understand it. And they sure as heck don't remember anything. And most churches, pastors, whatever, that say something about, swearing and stuff, they try to say that, well, if you take the Lord's name in vain, that's the real swearing part. Don't do that. Don't say God damn and stuff like that. Except that's not what that means. Taking the Lord's name in vain is an act. It's not anything you can say. Stuff you say doesn't mean anything. It's the actions. If you otherwise respond and commit an act because you heard somebody say something, you are doing that. There's nothing to do with what somebody said. That person's not doing anything to you. Now, I mean, if you're going to war and then you're yelling God's name, that's what we're talking about. Because the point was, in biblical times, that's what everybody was doing. They were like unaliving each other while being like, in God's name. That's what they meant. You can't condemn God by stating it. God is the Almighty. You think you can condemn him by saying something? No! You're condemning him because the point is you're unaliving his children and his creations. That's the condemning part. You are doing it with your actions. It's actions. It's teaching you that this causes your own condemnation. You can't say things to cause this. Your speech doesn't have magical powers that harm people. It's the people that harm themselves. So don't allow speech and music and art and stuff like that to be used that way. It's art. Don't think it's to be for that. It's not. It's to state an opinion. It's to have a stance, or again, just enjoyment. Just the person's expression. So, to think that an almighty God would be momentarily all ticked off and upset and bent out of shape about the fact that one person using the English language uttered "God damn" at any given time. It doesn't make any sense. It's just syllables coming out your mouth. So, these are modern things that certain Christians and people latch on to because this is what the church teaches them. And they want to latch onto it because it makes them feel safe. They get all bent out of shape and pissed off when somebody swears around them. Why? Because your parents taught you that. They taught you this is what Christianity is. To be angry at people that swear. And cast them out. And be immediately triggered by swear words. No. Nope. What Jesus taught you is to love thy enemy. Love thy neighbor, love thy enemy, though, too. So if you would condemn somebody to being your enemy just because they say language you consider foul, that's just, again, just syllables coming out their mouth. Again, it's the intent. How did they, you know what I mean? If in modern day this is regular speech for people to just kind of let things out and say F and S, and it's not directed at anybody. They're just, this is sort of letting momentarily things kind of slip out, you know? And it's like the sort of thing where you just feel free about your expression. That's all. And so, like, if anything, the people that aren't allowed to do this often feel very constricted about their speech, and the point is they're not allowed, so they become very angry and triggered when everyone else around them can get away with it, yet they every day aren't allowed to do this. That's not my fault. You put that on me because you are doing that. This whole thing with swearing and speech and stuff like that, you create this hate out of it. Nobody's doing that. Most people that would hear somebody start swearing, that again also swear, think it's funny. Because they realize the person's just getting some shit out. They get that. So, in modern day, you gotta understand that this stuff is just speech, and it's expression, and it's not demeaning or evil by any means. And says who? And says who? And also, taking the Lord's name in vain, I stick by that. You know, that is phrased that way for a reason. It doesn't state, thou shalt not say God damn. Because it doesn't make any sense. No, it states, still take the Lord's name in vain. Don't take it in vain. It doesn't even go on to say speech. It just says don't take it in vain. Those are acts. That's an act. You take his name in vain when you choose to act in an evil accord on God's behalf. That's taking his name in vain. That's what that means. It does not mean what you utter with your mouth. It doesn't have any bearing on anything. It doesn't hurt anybody. Except the scammer that's trying to convince everybody that it does. That's a very lost individual that can't get over, you know, those emotions where they're just upset somebody else gets to say this word that they're restricted from saying. So stop it with this. You're putting out restrictions and stuff like that while claiming Christian values. No. I just, you know, I've definitely laughed far more, you know, like somebody starts swearing and sometimes it's just funny. That's genuinely how I feel. And I have to think to myself, you know, if there were really uptight Christian or something like that around, boy, they'd really be hateful about this and be angry and be like, why is he swearing? You know, like, and just, and instead you could just laugh it off and be, you know, and be like, and just think to yourself, you know, man, I wonder why he feels that way. Maybe I should ask him if he's okay or something like that instead of just becoming hateful and angry at the speech, you know? So the point is, they're not even being a good Christian, technically, because now they're just reacting to the speech instead of being like, oh man, why does this person feel the need to have some swear words and stuff like that and feel that way? Maybe I should be a good witness to this person and try to figure out what's going on but no. Nope. Just, you're uncomfortable from swearing. Speech. Things that thousands of years ago we didn't have, and you know, like it. You know, like the point is, it all started with ugh and you know, like stuff like that. You know, like the whole point is, this is just a way of communication. Doesn't mean anything. You know, like people put these mystical meaning. You know, like almost like pretending like, you know, it's almost like. It's almost like they think magic is real too, like you utter some specific words or something like that, magic. You know, like it's like, well, that's the reality behind why like magic technically is magic in lore too, is like, yeah, that's why, you know, it's like it's not real, because, you know, like a lot of this stuff, the whole point is like, why would it be based on like spoken word? Like the point is, it doesn't make any sense, because words are something man created as a way for us to communicate with each other. So the claiming that some sort of entity power you don't understand comes from mystical words that you would speak and therefore you cast a spell doesn't make any sense. You know, because it's just sound syllables. So, you know, like, I mean, you rationalize that it's out of the sound, then fine, but you know, like the whole point is that it doesn't make any sense where like it's any other way except, you know, that this was created at one point by somebody that said these words that was magical, and so therefore the spell is this now because those are the words that he uttered for said spell long ago. You know, like Merlin type stuff and stuff like that. So the whole point is that's what I'm talking about, where you know, even that doesn't make any sense, because the whole point is that, yeah, it's just, okay, so it's based on that, and this is a man, you know, again, the English words that okay, so the point is, yeah, like, that it's fantasy, obviously, so rationalize that this stuff doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You know, again, what people say, that the words that they utter and speak out loud, it only matters because other countries around the world, okay, if you're broadcasted and stuff like that, other countries around the world, the reason it matters is because not in the United States, but those countries try to dictate and create laws that say this person's a criminal now just because they said this, and like actually have control over free speech. You know, where in this country you can sit here and say whatever you want about the president, and, you know, we have the right to free speech. It's centered comedy and stuff, and we can all get over it and move on and crap like that. You know what I mean? You know, like, we got plenty of comedians, especially political comedians and stuff like that. But if you go do that over in North Korea, nah, you'll just get unalived right in the middle of the street. Yeah, they'll just, and it won't be quick. It's not okay. So the point is, in other countries, the point is that they're trying to slowly spread that communist manipulation of free speech and media as much as they can to Western culture, us. Europe and the rest of the Western hemisphere. That was always what the point is. So the more you get behind the concept of free speech and not restricting this, and then creating systems of control where it's just a lie. Nowhere in the Bible does it say anything about swearing, and then now you would actually use one of the 10 Commandments and lie to people and create a whole system of control where we got churches and all these pastors that are totally take the Lord's name in vain. That means God damn it. Yep, totally. Yes. And then religious scholars and people that actually do deduce this and break it down from its original text would probably agree with me and be like, yeah, you're kind of sort of right. Like, that's actually sort of right. Yeah. It's a concept. It's not about... The whole point is that at biblical times, your word was your bond. All they had was word of mouth and speech. So it would have felt like that maybe throughout generations, but still would have been incorrect to still instill that. And even more so now that we have media, facts, science, we can prove stuff. You don't need to do this. The point is that it is so important to embrace people allowing free speech and allowing them to speak whatever syllables they would want to speak. Because God gave them those vocal cords and that mouth. If he didn't want us to do it, there would be something about nature that would tell us it's wrong, like built into you. Yet, every facet of my being, when I say a swear and somebody else that likes swear words and stuff like that hears one, they think it's funny too. It's just comedy. It's just a way of expression. And we have these things built into nature, just like the point is, you know full well when somebody does what they're not supposed to do, that one thing that you're never supposed to do to another person. Definitively, there is something, you know what I mean? Like everybody talks about this, soldiers talk about this, they struggle with this too, like that's the whole point. Like good people struggle with this because that's the point. They're good people that wouldn't do those things. So therefore, since they are forced to do those things at war, it actually does affect them. Speech doesn't. Nobody cares what they... You know what I mean? That doesn't do that. But inherently, it haunts their dreams. It affects them. They cannot... On a core level, spirit-wise, you are changing yourself. That is God speaking to you. There's no guess, there's no question. That's actually God. And nobody recognizes it. It is supposed to be obvious. There won't be any question about it. You don't have to be like, oh, let me pray and figure out what he's trying to tell. No! It's built in. Wake up! In the modern day society, you can figure out what God wants because we have science. Simply start getting smart and then figure things out. Whatever is. Whatever appears to be positive and gives people positive vibes, it's that simple. And whatever is built in to create that ornate, just organic level of filth in your core. Something like we just talked about. That's the evil. The difference between a white lie and a bad lie. A white lie is for a good reason. Somebody knows they're telling it to, maybe somebody's got a surprise party, right? And they're lying to them. They'll set it all up. Haha, this is going to be great, That's a white lie. That's for a good reason, okay? But then you would otherwise have a different type of a lie that's obviously not for a good reason, and that actually can affect people, does it not? Somebody says a lie, it kind of affects you, right? You feel a certain way, you're like, I feel bad, I don't like lying. And then those who would otherwise be kind of evil, they like it, right? They have no qualms about lying, just totally fine, make shit up all the time, sort of thing. So understand the difference, okay? Understand. There is nothing that does this with freaking swearing. Who cares? There's nothing you can deduce about somebody. Oh, that guy swears all the time. He's terrible. So what? No. Nope, not the same at all. Completely stupid. It's just somebody expressing themselves. So, this I will fight with every core of my being, because it's just wrong to treat people this way. Now, likewise, I do agree, obviously. I do obviously agree with, like, censorship and, growing up, and then, like having the mature mentality so that teenagers can focus. That I am absolutely on board for, because that is important. It's more about just them being focused. But again, if they're focused and they're a comedian, let's say they're actually good at it, okay? That's different, okay? Recognize that. All right? So that's all I'm saying. And if it's something that causes somebody, to lose focus in life and not be focused, well, that's a little bit different. But if we're just talking about, free speech, just an expression, man. It's the most basic level of what art is, free speech. That's why art is art. It is the expression of that. They're just doing it with art, So yeah, I've been seeing the concurrence follow the likes. 3 likes, 3 concurrence. We talked about this scam before. Nothing new. This is like basically the scammers trying to gain access to the browser level of things, and sort of kind of like scamming it to look a certain way. Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty funny how he forgets, like, I think it's hilarious, like, that's why I put that on the screen. Like, he's been doing that so long. That is a huge tell. The point is he does that so much he can't help himself. That's why I started putting that on the screen, guys. So again, these past couple of streams, you can really see how he cannot help himself to show his guilt. The moment that I point something out, he cannot help but mash the emoji button right when I tell you something that blatantly he is doing. So, you guys know, as far as my channel is concerned, with the content that I've been doing, basically, if I try to do content that I want to do, what happens is, well, the scam that he was doing was he would cause a problem for this, mess up the integrity of the stream, cause a problem for it, and basically it would get to the point where, I just could not do the content where I wanted to do that I wanted to do for you guys, so then I had to switch, and I would switch my niche to something else that I could do. And then as soon as that started getting popular, then he started doing it with that. So, every time I would switch to something where, I can do this, it's something that I feel that I can do and have knowledge in it, and I get popular with this and I start trending again, I'm fully aware that I would get, less and go down to almost nothing and take time to... I was aware of these things, and I was willing to deal with that, and I did, and I didn't say much about it, until, again, I started recognizing this as a regular thing where this guy was causing this every time I would. And my point was that I thought it was originally happening because there was some other streamers that were watching that were maybe adapting some of the stuff that I was talking about into a niche for themselves, and I was actually okay with that. I was like, okay, well, all right, fine. If this guy can't really do much else, and that's really all he can do, but I can do a million things, I'm gonna let him do that. I'm not gonna be a jerk about that, and I understand that our audience might be back and forth and stuff. I absolutely would obviously let him do that, and I actually did this multiple times where I switched my niche, on purpose multiple times, specifically to let one of these scammers get the benefit of that, and they did. I saw it full bloom, and the crazy thing is, I kind of set them up for that and let them take the trending, yet I get shafted time and time again because this scammer has just sat here with my information, just sort of scamming things behind the scenes for quite some time. As you can see, they just sort of show up with an account and do that. And that's even separate from the one I said that they're posting the, they're stealing my content and reposting it. I already told you that, it's under, basically he only changed one, he only added an E to the end. It's literally the same thing, and he's masquerading, as me, saying, oh, this content is by me, and then he types my name and stuff like that, and again, I pointed out the fact that he figures out a way to halt my view progress and get my views to halt, and then he'll upload the same video, that video he got to halt the view progress for, and then get thousands more uploading my video. I pointed this out with the cover I did, the short that I did of Disturbed. I did a partial cover of a Disturbed song, and he took it. It was halted at 200 some views, and this has been on there for a bit. It should have gained plenty, and he halted the view progress right when it was first uploaded. It just basically just halted right after, he learned that it was gaining trending and it was a good one. So as soon as he learned that it was good and people liked it, he halted the view progress, kept it there, and then now recently re-uploaded again my short to a completely made up cloned channel that isn't mine, pretending to be me, and got 2,000 views off of my short while my views were locked at 200 some. And it's been locked at like 200 something for a good amount of time. I'd say probably about a year that short's been up. That it should have gaining views, and it's literally been locked there. Just like all the other stuff that I told you about. And then just like the video where I got 8,500 views plating a filet mignon that I made on a short, because you guys know that I made some steaks and stuff, did some steak streams, and I plated this filet mignon, 8,500 views, and again, it's been halted. The view progress got halted. That it gained that in the first several hours. Like it was gonna, and he halted it, and again has re-uploaded this. It's probably one of my most watched videos, and he just re-uploads it to his channel, stealing it, and gets all these views from it. And again, that has been, the view progress has completely halted on that ever since it was uploaded. So how is he getting views when I've been talking about this, and I've been talking about this right on my stream for a long time. I have specifically emailed YouTube about this issue, and they have denied that my view progress has halted, even gone as far as to say, I know it can feel like your views are halted and stuff like that, but I assure you that's not what's happening. Like, literally just stuff like that, where it's like, people just not verifying anything, they're not investigating anything, they're just answering immediately, going, okay, alright, this guy's just, getting mad about his views and emailing us, and they don't investigate it, and they don't actually look into it. And as I just said that, the fourth like that the person had on the stream to remove it has been removed. So as another viewer came in, and we saw another viewer come in from 5 to 6, I see that fourth like that was on the stream go down to 3. Conveniently. So, anyway, the point is that I can't tell you guys all about me and give you guys a lot of information, and I'll oftentimes say things that will sound erratic and crazy. The point is to trigger this guy. The point is to get, again, he is trying to re-upload the stuff where it makes him look good and pretend to be me on another channel, where he looks good on this other channel, and that's going to be where all the good content is. And he's trying to get my channel to be just non-stop me raging out and stuff like that, where he's causing these parameters. That's what he's trying to do. So, I've already explained that he's stealing things. This guy actually stole plenty of credentials from me, and he's logged into many pieces of software that I, again, have access to, and he's just stealing that. So that's why he's able to do some of this stuff. He's just using my credentials. And again, right there it is. YouTube is that bad that He's able to just sit here and type a name. So I already pointed out the fact that he was masquerading on Steam as my dad, as my dad's first, middle, and last name. Yep, his full first, middle, and last name. He was masquerading as my dad on a Steam account. On that Wibla Steam account, the one that I showed you guys, it was that one. Yeah, that exact one. And one of the 4 likes that was on the stream, to be on the stream just to remove it, has come off right when I said that, too. So it went from 4 to 3 right when I said that. And we all know that's true. We all know that's true. So, anyway, the point is that other platforms have recognized this person as a scammer, removed those accounts that they were using that were fake, and all while YouTube sat here and didn't do that, and is blatantly removing thousands of videos having to do with the war that would show the very real picture that's actually happening, all while not removing ones that are misinformation and lying and making Trump look really good. I've seen plenty of that bullshit. Just complete lies. Plenty of it. Just like I pointed out to you, my entire, like, a good 80-90% of the thumbnails I see on YouTube are just AI. Blatant lies. And then the video has like millions of views just because it shows some outrageous, completely ridiculous AI image where people click it because it's clickbait. It's not even showing. It has nothing to do with that. It was 6 until I refreshed it. It was 6. So that's your capped concurrence. It's capped at 5. That's what that means, where as I would say something that would gain trending, I see that 6th concurrent, but it shifts out. So like that's a lie. That's a lie with the trending. So it's capped at 5 basically, actually, right now. And I've seen that's actually a trend that it's been following. See, the point is I know the patterns now. So sometimes I will catch it, and you'll see that. So that's when I knew, that's the point, I knew he was going to do that. So I refreshed it right when he did that, and the point is you saw what happened to the concurrent counter. It, like, disappeared and shit. Like, that's the point. Like, he's breaking this stuff. You know, like, oh, there goes a like, just came off. 4 likes, and it's down to 3. So the point is, when I refresh this, it shouldn't remove the, like, it should just refresh it really quick. It shouldn't sit there and freeze and remove the entire thing. It should just be real quick. If it's like freezing and stuff like that, yeah, he is screwing up. And that's the point. He, you know, capping those concurrents, lying about it. You know, again, some of what he's doing is a refresh too. He's doing the same thing but on the other side of things. So he locks it at 0, and then as I've seen this before, Type just keys in the number that he wants, and then as I would sit here and refresh, he refreshes it, and it just goes to 0. I've seen it. I've seen it. I've seen him sit there and refresh it from his side of things, almost like he's just on the other side doing what I'm doing back at me. It's literally all he's doing. Just a stream software, same bullshit I'm doing, just doing it right back. And YouTube, you know, again, just that incompetent, been reporting it for years. Google, too. I mean, like, literally, Google responded. Like, no, that's not happening. Totally not. So, anyway, I don't expect stuff to, another light came off. It was at 5, now I'm back down to 4. Right when I said that. So I don't expect, again, I'm not one of these people, that expects, down to 3 now. I'm reasonable. As I started with this stream, I don't expect every stream to gain the monetization and stuff like that. I know that there's certain things, just like I pointed out at the beginning, like they had the stuff written in there that said, flat out, if you talk about the war and stuff like that, we can demonetize you, you know? Yeah, I understand that. So my point is, like, don't sit here and have a bunch of fake shit that you momentarily do that with them. If you're going to have that in there and have that labeled in there, okay, that's the one thing you can do that with. Don't then do it with swearing. Don't, you know, like where you're starting to, he swore like 2 or 3 more times than we momentarily will accept at any given time. So, you know, demonetized. You know, don't stop this. Stop it. Okay? You're making shit up as you go along. There is no policy anywhere in YouTube's things that says anything about swearing. Absolutely none. It says stuff about, like hate speech and things like that, but we're not talking about that. We're obviously just talking about like regular swearing and then just momentarily being like, oh, that's too many F words now. Okay? You gotta have your YouTube policies, okay? And they gotta be in there for me to see. The Trump administration, I cannot rely on them to have anything credible that is released where I can rely on this to be valid, credible information. They have lied every single day forever. So I will never accept any information coming from anybody that was employed by Donald Trump. Appointed and employed by Donald Trump's regime. I will never accept any information given by anybody employed by Donald Trump's regime whatsoever as fact toward any information at all. So, the douche that leads the FCC, the moron that leads the FCC, that just randomly sits here and fucks with people that say too many Fs and stuff like that. Yeah, I will never accept anything that stupid little douchebag says because, again, this guy, just like plenty of other people that work for Trump, is a slime ball that's completely incompetent and is not following policy or law by any stretch of the imagination, just as Trump doesn't. So, again, since he has lied about everything since forever, I cannot guarantee what they are just momentarily deciding. However many fucks I can say before the FCC steps in, I don't know. They tried to sit here and cause problems for Howard Stern when he was a frickin' radio person too, and it was the same shit. Go watch Private Parts. They literally were like, oh, well, you can only say so many fucks before, you get taken up. Like, it was just this stupid, like, it was that dumb. And then, like, they had lists of words they couldn't say, and just, it's completely absurd. Completely absurd. It is not like that, and it shouldn't be like that. That again, that's like when you're like a kid and you're playing like capture the flag or something like that, and everybody doesn't understand the rules, so you're trying to like say different shit to confuse people, so that way you can just do whatever the fuck you want and confuse everybody. Yep. So again, I am not, absolutely 100% not listening to the fucking douchebag that works for the current FCC, while again Donald Trump is literally admitting and showing he's going after Jimmy Kimmel, Stephen Colbert, taking credit for literally canceling them. And let me remind you, all Jimmy Kimmel did was make fun of the guy. Yep, anything, just exactly like everything he always does any other time he is on air. He's always done this. He makes jokes. Nobody gives a shit. It's just a joke. And the President of the United States literally is such a pussy. He doesn't have any balls. He is such a fucking pussy that this motherfucker actually sits there and momentarily gets all pissed off to the point that he actually tries to have the guy taken off the air and have his credentials removed just because he made fun of how he was mourning Charlie Kirk. Not Charlie Kirk. He made fun of Donald Trump and how he was choosing to mourn Charlie Kirk, because again, he was demanding flags be flown at half-staff and acting like a complete blithering idiot. I mean, like, it was just it was blatantly obvious the guy was involved in having the guy unalived. The whole point was that even Jimmy Kimmel was pointing out the fact that this guy is not acting normal. And then shows even more guilt when he gets all pissed off and actually tries to have the guy taken off the air for telling a joke. So you're going to tell me that's not suspicious? This is like FBI 101 stuff. The guy looks really goddamn suspicious the very moment that he starts trying to attack people that are just exercising free speech. What the hell are you so afraid of? What are you so afraid of? Oh, right. That it points out the very obviousness of the fact that you made yourself look really stupid and guilty, flying flags at half-staff and shit like that's very suspicious behavior. Yep, and he's pointing it out. Yep, because you're an idiot and you make stupid, idiotic decisions like that. And he's yep. No, nobody flies flags at half-staff for... No! The dude was literally just a campaign guy. He's not a soldier. None of this shit. He's not a war hero or half-staff. This is the point. He very blatantly made and showed how guilty he is. And then, now it's coming out, the bullet ain't matched. Yep, you can look all that shit up. He didn't, the dude didn't do it. It's all bullshit. Yep. And all these videos getting taken off YouTube. I pointed out the fact that it was blatantly obvious they had a spotter doing this. Nobody seems to care. Oh, gee, I wonder if that means the FBI is behind it. Duh! Remember how these idiots... Remember how, first of all, Kash Patel shouldn't randomly have the gun of a guy that was just unalived in Minneapolis. The fact that he immediately had his gun right after should tell you everything you need to know. That doesn't make any sense. Why does he have it? Why? right after that? He just has it? Why? And he admitted to that. Why does he have it on his... Why does he have it in his possession? What? What the... Well, because he's hiding evidence. That's why. What are you blind? That's not how that works. So, like, the point is nobody gets this. This isn't how these things work. And then I already pointed out the fact and showed that I was able to deduce things better than any media outlet. I'm the only one that pointed this out. Still, to this day. That they had some sort of, like, anti-ice statement supposedly on these bullets, right? Yet it was written with ink, and you could clearly see, like, water droplets, and it had been raining. Yet it's clearly written with ink on there, and it wasn't smeared at all. Yet they supposedly found this like this. And this was written on there, and the ink wasn't smeared at all. It's literally just perfectly written on there. Yep. What are you, 5? First of all, you're writing ink from like a pen or something on a bullet. It's already metal with some shit on it. It's not going to stick very well. Secondly, you're actually trying to claim that you found this like this, and I can see the water droplets. Like, that shit would be, like, running all over the place, man. You're, like, on metal? Metal. Yep, totally. Yep, metal is permeable. Yep, it can totally absorb that ink and not run and just sit on the surface and immediately run all over the place and completely wash off, and would be on his hands and stuff as he's picking it up. But it wasn't. It was clearly visible. Yeah, they wanted you to see that anti-ice statement so that you feel bad for them, and then they can go unalive some citizens. And they did. They did. Oh, they did after that. Oh, they did. So, again, I'm fully aware that at times, you know, YouTube takes the defense and it doesn't want to be on, you know, monetizing certain things people talk about. That's fine. Just as I said, you know, for all those times where I do copyrighted music and stuff like that, that's allowed to be used. Obviously, like, live streams don't do that. I'm just saying that's allowed to be used. You know, obviously, I'm fully aware that everything, if they even allow me to do it live, in that live stream or upload, is going to then go to that copyright holder. I'm aware of that. So, I'm obviously okay with that. I've accepted that, and you know, that's just how things work. And again, part of the reason you have to realize that I want to sit here, obviously, and you know, like play Black Label Society or stuff, like, while I'm playing games and stuff like that. But you have to realize, you actually can't do that. It's considered a performance. Like, as far as copyright is concerned, if you're playing music on a live stream, you're now broadcasting it. You have to have the rights to broadcast it, and you don't. Like, literally, unless you're, like, the band or the copyright holder, you do not have the copyrights to be broadcasting that music. Very, very rarely can you get away with that. And it would be those times, usually rarely those times, where the bands own all of the rights to everything, and they're like, okay, that's cool. You know? And it's very rare for that to happen. So that's the point, is it's considered like a live performance, a broadcast. If you just do an upload, that's different. But you know, the artists, they have their concerts, they make money off of it. They you know, radio stations and stuff like that. So it's important to remember that. And then that also goes along with what I was going to say about Israel. I do think that they do have terrorists in our country that are buying up radio stations for the sake of contributing to the signal war, where they're trying to have a monopoly on radio stations so that they can eventually, you know, again, you have a radio station, you have a very large tower that can transmit a signal. And, you know, again, that's, you can do a lot with that. So, I don't want to sit here and tell you what you can do with it. I don't know that necessarily would be a great idea for me to do that. But, you know, I mean, like, plenty of people, like, you just find the stuff on YouTube. I mean, like, you know, like, it's not that hard to figure it out. So, I just, the fact that the technology exists and somebody could add it up, it just, you know, the FBI is clearly not doing their job. Like, it's, we're under attack and they're allowing it. Just saying. I'm not trying to be a certain way. I'm just, if you care about our government at all and you care about actually protecting people, don't do this stupid, ridiculous thing where you're just closed off to thinking that democracy's over and you need to have a dictatorship. Like, again, a democracy can be adjusted. A dictatorship can't. Period. You can always do something with a democracy. You can always change things. You can always, the people want something, you have the power. A dictatorship, you can't do that. Okay? That guy is going to restrict everything. He's going to lie to you and say that he's going to give you a fair deal. It's quite frankly not what he's going to do, and it's not what he has been doing. Okay? You can see I have plenty of evidence of that. And it's going to just keep getting worse with that. It never ends. Okay? Kim Jong-un, Putin, they're both very rich people that ran their country into the ground and quite frankly bankrupted it on the same concept. I know, confetti. I know. Same concept, okay? That's all you gotta do, is look at the fact that it doesn't work. The whole reason it doesn't work is you're not giving companies private sectors to do what they want to do and to be successful. You're controlling it. So, again, you everything that you're not allowing the people freedoms to do this or that, to you decide it. So again, the guy is wrong and just makes wrong decisions and wants to own everything, and that's the point. So eventually, all that happens is the people that are running it become impoverished, poor, die, get replaced, cycle repeats itself, gets worse, people become dumber. You know, it's malnourishment, it's de-evolution, it's control of a society. I know, confetti, I know. And, you'd be completely stupid and foolish to think that you have any input at all if you allow one guy control over everything. He will never allow anybody else to make any other decision ever. And quite frankly, this guy, he's not the guy. The guy that's always right must embroider a hat and wear it so that you know it. He can't even lose and he can't lose at golf. He's got to cheat. He's caught cheating at golf. He can't even. And there's plenty of evidence, as we've already talked about, of him trying to steal Obama's ideas. Quite frankly, literally saying he did this, did that, and then anything that people didn't believe he did this, did that, you got rid of it. And it was stuff that you needed. And that's why shit's bad. Gee, I wonder why the person's hitting the confetti button. I wonder why. I wonder why that's happening. Wonder why that's a thing that's going on right now. Wonder why. There's no debate anymore. There's nothing that anybody has to debate. He was never somebody that was right about anything. He's proved that he's wrong about everything. He never actually debated anybody and lost every debate. He spoke over Hillary Clinton. Literally did not let her speak. Quite frankly, lost that election. She won by 3 million more votes. Yet the Electoral College just picked Trump because that's how our system works. And that's exactly how he's trying to rig it so that he can continue to get electoral votes. It's the only thing in my entire lifetime where more people vote. You know, again, it's supposed to be a vote. It's the only thing in my entire lifetime where, you know, the more you vote for something, doesn't fucking matter. We'll just pick whoever. It's the only thing I've ever seen in my entire lifetime where, you know, the more votes that you have, that doesn't mean anything. Nah. It's the only thing ever. You vote for something. You know, like in school or whatever, you vote for a class president, right? The most votes wins. They don't have some stupid electoral system where they're like, oh, well, you know, we gotta consider these other things here. What other things? More people voted for this person than this person. It's that simple. More people, 3 million more people voted for Hillary Clinton. And then the other guy came in. More people do not like Trump than like him. We know this beyond anything else. Like, this is the thing we blatantly know. We see them showing up in huge crowds. The No Kings rally and all that. The No Kings protest. Shouldn't call it a rally. It wasn't a rally. It's a protest. All this stuff. Where we have all these people speaking out and showing up in numbers, and they're trying to hide it from you. How many times did I say this, and we had huge amounts of fake scam accounts come in my chat going, that's a lie. That's a lie. You know, like trying to say that stupid shit. And that's ridiculous. So this again, this MAGA scammer should not be allowed to exist on here. This Russian terrorist MAGA scammer should not be allowed to exist on here. And again, according to Steam, he's Russian. Because the Steam account says Russian Federation. So according to Steam, he's Russian. So if he's not, which I've warned you, I'm pretty sure he's just here. That is incredibly fraudulent and illegal. Where he's using Steam and it just says Russian Federation. So if there's a lot of stuff that he's doing that's illegal and should be telling the system that, he's getting away with it under a Russian Federation credentials. I already know this guy is a trading scammer, where you know how like there's like these trades that they do on Steam where you have to give somebody a link and stuff like that. Sometimes this will leak email addresses and stuff like that. So the point is that this scammer does that for that. I did see some comments to indicate that this person does trade with people, and again, that process requires a link, and you know, again, oftentimes will leak the person's email and stuff like that. So this is how this person scams these accounts and steals them, and you know, again, otherwise looks like a beacon to the community because their Steam level is really high up there, because trading and stuff like that is a community thing, and that's gets your Steam level way up. Not playing games. I'll sit there and have all this hours in games and it doesn't do fucking jack squat. You gotta trade with people. I mean, it's just so stupid. I mean, it literally promotes scams. So this is what this person is doing and taking advantage of, where Steam does not have a community built, in my opinion, to promote playing the shit out of games. No, they have a community to promote gambling and free shit and microtransactions. So they have to fix that. That's the problem. Like, I have always supported Steam, and I got behind them during this last time and told you guys I was one of the first ones saying, look, this lawsuit's bullshit. I got plenty of games on here for like nothing. I got Dark Souls 3, and that's $60 normally, and I got that for like $7. Okay? And I got all these other games on there on sale for really, 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 really cheap. Okay? So don't sit here like these are Karens that are doing this. Like, you know, like no actual real gamer thinks people are getting ripped off from Steam. No, everybody's on Steam because they have the deals. I literally bought like the entire I bought the entire franchise several times of things for like $10-15. I was gonna say something specific, but you know, now that I think about it, it's been several times where I was able to buy an entire franchise of games that is, again, each one of these games is still, they can justify $40 to $50 to $60 because that's just the price that they're putting on there for the updates and whatever. And meanwhile, they're giving you sales because they know that that's expensive, and flat out I can get the entire thing for $10-15, and normally, yeah, it would be like almost $100-120 to buy the whole franchise. So again, that's not Steam, that's the community, and they have a problem with assholes like this masquerading on the community as good beacons to the community. Meanwhile, this guy is literally used my dad's first, middle, and last name. He was masquerading as this as his username on Steam, on that same account. And he did it 2 different times. It showed me 2 different times that he did it. So this guy is a trader scammer where he trades with people to get their information and steal their account. And obviously it's to trick people, it's to gain information, it's to continue doing these things, and you know, obviously he wants to steal. He wants to make money off of this, or he wouldn't be uploading my content. He's sitting here masquerading as family members in my chat, all while masquerading as my family members online on Steam accounts while playing Steam. Why? What is he doing with that? Just like you saw him come in my account under the name that you see there, all the times that he spammed the name that he did earlier. You know, where he's just trying to dox people. And then literally shows you with the confetti. It is incredibly illegal to dox somebody's full name. It is incredibly illegal. You know, he's just going in here to get everybody to see this name while I'm very clearly using an online persona. While I'm very clearly here with an online persona. You know, again, this guy, if he went into Asmongold's stream and doxed Asmongold's name in his chat, first name, middle name, and last name, over and over and over and over and over, what do you think would happen? Do you think YouTube would do something? Do you think YouTube would do something? Right. And that'll be my entire lawsuit defense. And also my entire lawsuit for the pyramid scheme that I'm proving that YouTube is. YouTube is a pyramid scheme. So basically the whole point is that we're proving that they will do something about scammers when it's Asmongold. And you all know that. But when it's me, they will lie about my views and intentionally keep me at a low number to allow this person to harass, stalk, and otherwise dox my information and make it public so that way as many people that want to harass me as possible do. You know, again, they're trying to get... YouTube wants somebody to be killed. That's what they want. They want the streamer to kill themselves, they want a stalker to kill the streamer, or they want the streamer to kill the stalker. But either way, they want something to happen where something very serious happens, and, you know, YouTube is just facilitating that while looking like, you know, they didn't do anything wrong. But meanwhile, they could do something about it. Just as you know full well, this person would immediately be in a jail cell if they did it in Asmongold's chat. Immediately they would be in a jail cell. Immediately. If they did it in Asmongold's chat. Immediately. If this person did this to a police officer, they would be in jail immediately. So, just so that you know, the doxing and online harassment laws that apply to police also apply to private citizens, because police are private citizens. That's what they are. So, again, pyramid scheme, an example of our country becoming fascist, where middle-class people are just stalked, harassed, doxed, and rich people just look, you know, like they're on top of the world, and this is the best time to be alive, like Asmongold says, because he's a fucking retard. Oh, it's the best time to be alive! I'm a fucking retard with $15 million sitting in my bank account. Da-da-da-da-da! Best time to be alive, because I have $15 million. Yeah, because you got $15 million. That's why, you fucking retard. Yeah, you're a fucking retard. You don't know how anything works. You are stupid. All the rich people in this country are literally dumb as shit. I don't know a single one of them that is smart. Even Elon Musk proves that he's stupid. That guy literally, somebody will ask him a question about space and he'll be like, maybe I'll give an intelligent answer, or maybe I'll give a completely oddball, off-the-wall fucking response that doesn't make any sense to confuse dumb people. Yep, that's the one. That one. That's Elon Musk. He doesn't give answers. He literally just gives complete nonsense bullshit. You ever watch... Alright, this is Elon Musk. Watch the thing that he did. There was somewhere... He was... I think it was China. He was with somebody that was, like, actually smart. And this guy didn't... I don't think he spoke English. Maybe he did. But they were sort of kind of... Like, the point was they were supposed to talk. And, like, the foreign guy that was, like, Chinese or Japanese or... he was Asian. This guy, like, literally infinitely smarter, and just immediately picks up on it, too. Like, he's, like, turned off by Elon Musk. Like, it's obvious. And, like, Elon literally just continues proving how fucking dumb he is throughout the entire course of the conversation. Literally, the guy keeps saying stupid shit that anybody could say. He doesn't add anything. And the other guy literally just intelligence. He's just all this. He's adding all this stuff. Oh yeah, then there's this and there's this. You have to consider this and this and this. And then Elon's like, yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's right. You're right about that. Literally, the whole time. Like, Elon Musk is a fucking retard. That guy is retarded. He literally is just a billionaire engineer. That's it. And he's like the only one. That's the reality. Now, imagine if you actually gave that much resources to somebody that's actually smart. That would help. Imagine if Robert Downey Jr. was actually a billionaire. He was actually more like Tony Stark. Not a millionaire, but a billionaire. Imagine this. Somebody that's actually helping, funding projects that are helping. Not just endlessly doing stupid shit. Like, I mean, literally, this... And NASA's dumb, too, anymore. Like, they are just dumb as fucking hell. They just do whatever the hell SpaceX wants them to do. They are stupid. And nobody knows this. Like, everybody's just like, yes, Elon Musk. Oh my god, he's so smart. Throw more money at this imbecile. Iran could fucking hack Elon Musk if they really wanted to. They just don't care. What benefit would they... You know what I mean? Like, it's the point is this guy is a moron. Donald Trump is even more of a moron than this guy. Remember, Elon Musk is supposed to be the genius, okay? And he is a billionaire, so imagine how stupid Trump is in comparison when I'm calling Elon Musk a complete moron. Because he is. He's a moron. He's just sounding intelligent. I mean, I swear to God, like, I've listened to entire conversation. He preps for the questions. He tries to sound smart. He doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. Especially the Joe Rogan stuff. Like, you look at that stuff and it's like, especially this. Because he really gets down to it. You know, like, he really asks those smart... Joe Rogan's actually a lot smarter than people give him credit for. Like, that's what's annoying. The annoying thing is this guy gets a bad rap. And it's quite frankly because these dumb people get interviewed by this guy, and then they get this back and forth where the moron, like Elon Musk, becomes friends with him and then makes him look bad. No, I think Joe Rogan's actually smarter than Musk. Like, all right, so I remember I saw the back and forth where he was turned off by the AI that Musk was trying to boast about the Gronk thing. You know, like, he thinks this is so funny that Gronk is insulting people. Like, we all know I think that's funny, too. Like, it's funny as a joke, but this guy's the billionaire presenting this on Joe Rogan, and again, this is how he presents it. Like, we're not talking about a joke, we're talking about a billionaire presenting a tech thing, and he's on Joe Rogan to do this, and maybe the last time he was there, it was sort of a joke, where they shot some arrows at a car, and it sort of looked a little bad. Now he's got to kind of redeem this a little bit. Just dumbass. Yeah. It's so funny. He looked like fucking Butthead or Beavis or something. Like, literally, the dude just is a dumbass. And he's presenting the tech like, yeah, this is such great AI, it can insult people now. And even Joe Rogan was infinitely smarter when he goes, yeah, but does it do anything else, or does it just insult you? And that's the upgrade. Like, that was basically his question, was like, is it the upgrade that it insults you, or does it do anything else? And he's sort of right. He was sort of right. Like, Elon couldn't even deny it. He was sort of kind of like, that's paraphrasing, but Elon was sort of kind of like, oh, you know, it's just a work in progress. Like, he just thought this was so funny. And you could tell Rogan was just not amused by this. Like, dude, like, you really came on here like that? Like, it's already bad enough that you de-spaced yourself on this channel. Then you shot some arrows, and now you bring me this ridiculous tech that I can't even feel good about, and presented it like this. So now it's like, does he even want the guy to come back? You know, because it's just gonna make him look bad every time he's there. Elon Musk is a retard. The guy is dumb. And quite frankly shows that the more space you give him, the more money you give him, the dumber he gets. Ha ha! Gronk, it's so funny. Even Trump isn't that bad. Even Trump isn't that bad. I can admit that. Like, that's, I mean, whew. No wonder the guy got punched in the face. Like, it really is no wonder. Somebody hit that guy in the face, and the made-up story is that his kid did it. He actually made up a story where he actually expects us to believe that his son punched him in the face. And he asked him to. This is the real story he told. Like, we're supposed to believe this. This is like a normal thing that would actually happen. Yeah, he claims that he just asked his son to punch him in the face. So he did. You get what I'm saying? like the reality of that. Yeah, so, like, again, that's not an answer. You know what I mean? And even if it was, that's not the story. That's just, he hit you in the face. You don't tell it. You're not gonna tell it. You asked him to. Bullshit. And if that's the case, your son punched you in the face. What did you do to him? What did you actually do? So it's complete nonsense. And then, you know, the example of Elon Musk wearing not a suit in the Oval Office, and they reamed Zelensky out. Remember, he didn't wear his suit, and they reamed him out. No, that wasn't about the suit. They were being anti-Ukraine. They just literally wanted to frame him as the enemy for the American public to hate the side of Ukraine because, again, they're manipulating MAGA voters to dislike Ukraine. It's that simple. Again, Ukraine is a highly educated country that was our friend. Still is. But they don't like Trump too much, obviously. And so you gotta rationalize, like, what the hell right do we have to you know what I mean? Like the point is that they just were randomly attacked by Russia. And again, one of the most highly educated country in the world, very smart. And some of the top scientists, research scientists. So we can clearly, blatantly see why Russia was attacking them. They would have had a positive impact on our research. And Europe's research, too. Quite frankly, these are the people that figured out the drone defense technology that absolutely no other country on the planet figured out. And they did it. They did it while under attack on a war. Do you not understand the difference in intelligence level between them and us? Do you not get it? The difference is, that's what we discovered with Vietnam. It don't effing matter. The point is, what's right and wrong. You don't just force your way into another country because you disagree with what they're doing. The point is, that other country may very well be very excellent at intelligence and other things. So who's to say that you're the right one? Don't meddle. And again, if it's a country that is our friend and they're part of like that whole NATO thing, the whole point is, yeah, then we assist, we offer assistance. We still don't get involved. That's what NATO's for. To offer military assistance. We all pitch in so that the countries that get attacked around the world can defend themselves very easily with all this defense that we've all put into. It's just like a giant thing that you put into, and everybody can use that to defend themselves. That's why NATO is so important. That's the support of the denuclearization process, the anti-war process. They are just there to literally assist countries that are attacked by other countries. Russian state media frames this the other way around. They are literally just lying to everyone, all the Russians in their entire country. So does India, like all these countries in that area. Russia has a huge impact on their media. And they literally just blatantly lie to them and frame US and NATO and Europe as these terrible countries. No, it's quite frankly the opposite. The democracies, again, give people the right to vote and elect their representatives so that the representatives can do the things that they want them to do with the tax money that they're paying to the government. The whole point is that gives the people the choice. You're electing all these different people, not one. And now can complain to all these different people, and they can all get together. Not just one guy. So again, NATO is like this in the concept that they're not going to sit here and meddle. The whole point is that they exist to prevent the spread of war, where they just want everybody to be able to have peace. And so the point of it is all these countries get together and have all these military bases and submit all this money and stuff like that, so that way they can mobilize very easily and assist any country around the world that would then be attacked, which is exactly what they did for Ukraine. Which is why they were so easily able to get assistance to them, because the US had already been the forefront of that since forever. But NATO doesn't attack people. No. And Russia frames this because Russia does this. They have had sanctions against them for randomly attacking people since forever, okay? The problem is now the Trump administration and the US is now doing this very thing. We are randomly attacking Iran. Randomly. So what do you think is happening to the United States? That's right. Foreign governments are now imposing those sanctions upon us because Trump is exhibiting the same dictator-like behaviors as Putin. Zelensky is the hero. He's the guy trying to save his country. He could have retreated. He could be just like laying on an island somewhere, kicking back, sipping on daiquiris. I swear to God, they wanted to get him out of there. That was the whole point. They were like, we got to get you out of here, sir. You know, just very much like here. And he didn't. He did not back down. I could cry thinking about that act of bravery and courage. It actually makes me tear up a little bit. I swear to God. There has never in my lifetime been somebody this iconic and brave in the public's view. This is why they hate that guy. And they were like, you shouldn't have worn a suit. That's why they tore him down. Quite frankly, the most brave individual, maybe even on the planet, he doesn't retreat. He stays. And could have easily been taken out and captured. But he doesn't let that bother him. Nope. He just stays and defends his country anyway. Well, my salute is to you, sir. Absolutely. Because that's what a real, true president does. You know, Trump would retreat to his bunker that he lied to you about building, that he needed to build, and spend $1 trillion doing it while lying to you about it. Remember? Yep, that's what that's for, so he can retreat to there, because he's a... not like that at all. Complete opposite. So, just so that you know, I'd probably be the Zelensky guy. I don't know about y'all, but I'd be the Zelensky. I mean, I'm not saying that just to say that. It would be the sort of thing where I'd feel that way because I'd feel responsible. I'd feel like, well, this happened under my leadership. I can't. Yeah, it's like like captain of a starship on Star Trek or something. Like I can't. I can't. I have to see it through. You don't walk away from that. That's your battle. Trump's a coward. He causes all these battles and then just runs away. Kash Patel got hacked by Iran. What an idiot. Alright guys, I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna get off the stream. But you should have a better idea of kind of what's going on by now. So, I appreciate it. Thanks for listening. And, yeah. I hope you guys had a good Easter. And, take care. And I'll see you.